All right, gents. First of all, Miss Trimer's wife is the only person here that doesn't know me. The answer to the $60,000 question: what's the guy doing here in uniform? Well, I would tell you I'm here as a re-enlist announcement, but the truth is I just don't have any clean laundry at the house, so I wanted to show up to this. So I could jump in the car and hit the beach. Earlier this morning, about 10 o'clock, went up to the flight deck. Myself just came out of a 2-hour painful VTC. Right? Went up to the flight deck expecting just ourselves and Mr. Ross and one other witness to do his re-enlistment up there. Thought it'd be a quick, down and dirty. Ended up having several people show up. As a note of the POD, so we had some uninvited guests, if you will, who just don't ever go away. So did kind of an impromptu speech up there and talked about it. So I'm going to hit some of the high points of the things I spoke about earlier. And I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, Tim's a stud. He always talks about his stuff. But I have to do that in order to get where I'm going when I talk about him. All right? Just been maybe a while, much longer than most of you, if not all of you, But I work with all branches of service: Marines, Army, Coast Guard, DEA, you name it, civilian capacity, DOD capacity, whatever. And I've never worked with an individual. And note that I didn't say sailor, Marine. Individual, in my opinion, is more impactful to the success of a team, to the mission, to the command, to our nation. And I look back over the last year and a half, and I think that it's been pretty challenging, to say the least. Extremely challenging. I look back to the days of just thought I was going to die on a watch. Mr. Parks, Lupo, Trimer, familiar crowd here. Was always a team player. One of the best imagery analysts, I think, in the Navy, by far, bar none. Is a go-to guy, figures out very complex problems, comes up with innovative solutions. What you don't know about him is that he hails from Holland, Wisconsin. Is there really a difference between Michigan and Wisconsin? Anyway,
there's all Marines, really.
Okay, really? So he's from Cincinnati. No, in all honesty, getting on track here, he graduated Holland High School. He lived at home with the parents. He occupied the dad's man cave for about 3 years. This is all funny. I just learned this morning, by the way, during our 2-hour VTC. And occupied the man cave, went to a small university for a few years. Didn't quite drop out, but just didn't finish. He was bartending at night, and he got kind of tired of breathing in smoke and all that kind of good stuff. Decided, hey, I'll join the Navy. So a little bit of luck in a pretty high ASVAB school, became an intelligence specialist. One of the best jobs you can have, in my opinion, and I think many other people share that as well. Went to Virginia Beach back in 2003 for ISA school. After that, he was very fortunate to go out to sunny Hawaii for about 3 years. He worked at the PACOM GIOC as a first phase imagery analyst. So, good news is, following that career, he came over to 7th Fleet. So bringing all that talent, that he learned at the job, really raised the bar over there. Comes to 7th Fleet, and all those, state-of-the-art techniques and, systems, equipment, et cetera, was able to inject that, implement here at 7th Fleet, and to coin it as his own, if you will, in a lot of different areas. So I'll say that all the things that we have done, supporting Operation Tomodachi, it was all your idea. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, there were many people, that in much higher pay grades that took a lot of credit, too much credit, for no more than the stuff that this guy did. The processes, the ideas he had, the things, the way we all kind of managed the team. Kind of reminded myself many years ago in terms of, by no means, I'm not saying I'm as bright as this guy or as talented, but in terms of commitment to the job, commitment to the team, being able to pull the guy. We had to force this guy to get off the job and go to bed, if you will. Like, you have to sustain yourself. You can't do this 24 hours a day for a month. You got to go to bed at some point. But that's the level of talent, that's the level of commitment that he has to the team, to the command, to our nation. Re-enlistment, I've lost track of the count. I did a dozen or so of my 2nd Fleet before I came off the 7th Fleet. So I don't know how many this is, but I will say that this is I re-enlisted 3rd classes up to senior chiefs. And I think that this is probably the most important to me, because I feel strongly this is probably the brightest sailor person that I've had the opportunity. So I feel pretty blessed to be a re-enlistment officer. And I can only hope that people back home in Wisconsin, is it, or Cincinnati, are as proud of you as we are. We hate to lose you here in another month or so, but all the talent that you pushed onto the team. Look at new proteges, and Trevor starts to hide from you. People like that, people that really have learned from you. So appreciate that. You taught every person in the crowd here. You had a crowd up on the flight deck, and that a lot of folks are actually still working on the boat. Otherwise, they'd be here. The boss, the captain, he's up in Tokyo and stuff. But these guys thank a lot of you and just hold you in extremely high regard. So with that, I have a couple things. We're not going to do the discharge. To me, that's just so overrated. We decided not to do that piece. But what I would like to do is go ahead and re-enlist you back into the Navy. I will say you've been discharged for most of the day because you really didn't do anything. Because Chief had a lot of stories. So you're engaging with stories and making fun of furlough and and kind of shooting the bull. I went to the gym for a change. So we'll go ahead and re-enlist you, bud. And then we have a couple of little trinkets we want to pass on. All right. So if you're a uniformed person, attention to you forget to be. I state your name.
I do solemnly swear.
That will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That will be the orders of the President.
I will obey the orders of the President.
And the orders of the officers.
And the orders of the officers.
Appointed over. According to regulation.
According to regulation.
The Uniform Code of Military Justice.
The Uniform Code of Military Justice.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
It's time to clap if you guys. On with a couple little awards here. We did this earlier just to certify the honorable discharge and the re-enlistment. Having sworn the oath in front of me this day, 28, whatever it is, 27, I lost track, October. Thanks very much. And just real quick, this is from the Chief of Staff. The N2 would be garbage without it. I was looking at the video cameras moment. Okay, so I relax with it. So those are the command little awards. We have a couple ourselves. One from the shop, and one from myself and the Chief, if you will. But first of all, work with you guys as much as I do. Sometimes you probably think I hate you. Sometimes you guys think you're Superman based on what I say to you. I think you can all agree I'm a very direct guy. When I'm thinking, it normally comes out first. And having said that, and making Mr. The N2 would be garbage without it. I was looking at the video cameras moment. Okay, so I relax with it. So those are the command little awards. We have a couple ourselves. One from the shop, and one from myself and the Chief, if you will. But first of all, work with you guys as much as I do. Sometimes you probably think I hate you. Sometimes you guys think you're Superman based on what I say to you. I think you can all agree I'm a very direct guy. When I'm thinking, it normally comes out first. And having said that, and making Mr. Here over the past several months, and he hates it. He hates it
so much.
But guess what? He's extremely good at it, and that's why we continue to put more and more on his shoulders every chance we get. From my perspective, I also have another guy who works pretty closely back in the Target shop with me. And I'm a little bit older, so to some degree it's kind of a parental relationship. The way I kind of work with a couple select people, and there's a little bit of friendly competition between the select person. So it started out with two guys that just hated each other's guts. I mean, really, just wanted to kill each other. Jealous, anything. I would talk to one to incite the other, because I knew that just patting one on the back was going to make the other one mad. Not that that's anything special, but just injecting a little bit of humor into it, a little bit of friendly competition. At the end of the day, it's a much better workforce for everybody. I knew it would take some time, I really did. But I tell you what, that has gotten to a point where not only they started working together, but they started coming up with some better processes, and it's better for the entire team. So I failed to mention that as he departs 7th Fleet here in about a month, he's going over to Jack Molesworth, to an analysis center. So he'll be enjoying Europe for a few years, and while you're over there, you want to make sure that you have the opportunity every day to be able to open this up, and just remember the team that got you to where you're at, the team you inspired, and led and trained. So I want you to remember furlough. All right? So Mr. Furlough here, off to everyone's right here to see him behind closed doors trying to backstab you right here. Okay, you got Petty Officer Schreimer's coin right here. You got the unofficial logo, so keep this close. And then a couple of our sayings in the shop. Give you what? What's the other one? Furlough? Pass. Get there, eesh, luego, and never, ever forget to don your gas mask. Okay? All right, guys, and just when you think it ended, there's always more where that come from. So what I'm going to do now, he doesn't have an SRB. All right, so if he did, I wouldn't be in the shoot-up when we get the bar. But I'm going to present what I like to characterize as the highly coveted, highly sought, but sorry folks, seldom awarded induction to the 7th Fleet Intelligence Hall of Fame. All right. Now, I know everybody wants to get a crack at this. It's extremely difficult to be able to warrant this. Normally, you have to do something very major, significant to be put into the 7th Fleet Intel Hall of Fame. And you even got the special one here, the gold standard, if you will. So, again, uniformed personnel. Tin Hut. Com 7th Fleet Intelligence Hall of Fame. To all who shall see these prizes greeting, know ye by authority invested in me, myself, Chief D, and reposing special trust and confidence and patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of intelligence specialists, conduct you to the 7th Fleet Intelligence Hall of Fame. We're not designed to be straight-A students, astronauts, cows, and 22 sleepwalkers, but we are designed to use the best of our talents that we do possess and relentlessly strive to surpass ourselves in all endeavors. Congratulations and Re-enlistment. And I have a little note here from me. I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read it because I messed it up when I was writing page books. But I did note here that the kind of work that we do, business of intel, and specifically what our shop does. If we were to go to war tomorrow, and I was fortunate enough to lead up what we do in that capacity, if I was fortunate enough, and I was given a list of people, hey, who do you want to build this team? The very first person that would come to my mind, call it tomorrow, call it 10 years from now, is this man. And I wrote that here. Congratulations. Thank you. Table seat for a clap. And folks, that concludes this re-enlistment. Do you have any